What's going on, guys? Bring a little short video to y'all today. We're gonna build some drawer fronts and 2 cabinet doors for some little glass inserts on a big entertainment center we've been working on. We haven't really given y'all any content in the past probably 2 weeks or so. To be honest with you, we've just been really busy. We've been hustling, been in the groove, been trying to knock out a bunch of stuff, so we kind of really hadn't had time to vlog. We're just trying to get a bunch of stuff done. We had the cabinet shop, aka my house. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna make some MDF drawer fronts since it's getting painted white, and the 2 glass door frames will be made out of maple. So we got our maple on the ground. We got the MDF in the truck we're about to take out. We're gonna go ahead and cut all of our drawer front sizes, which I'm gonna explain to y'all how to measure for those and how we're gonna cut them out. And then we're gonna go get our router tables down the street, and then we're gonna show y'all how we do that, how we set them, and all kind of stuff like that. So give us just a second, we'll get back in with y'all. All right, guys, so check it out. We have 12 drawer fronts. These are all of our drawer fronts. These are our frames for our glass doors, MDF maple. So check it out. All of our drawers, we have so our entertainment center is 3 boxes. Bear with me, I'm a carpenter, not an artist. So we have 6 drawers in each side cabinet, right? These are just big openings. The subwoofers going here, the 2 glass doors are going here, and there is something like that. You know, we're gonna have 3 small drawers, 3 medium-sized drawers, 3 big drawers. On each side, they're gonna mirror. So all of our drawer openings are 18 1/8. So what you want to do is you want your drawer front to be a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around in your opening. So I kind of drew this out for y'all. This right here is our cabinet opening from where our maple sits. So we have 3-inch maple here, 3-inch maple here, and then we have like our 1.25 inch pieces here. This right here is to mimic the drawer and the drawer slide. So this is your maple opening right here. What you want to do is measure from here to here and add 1 inch, which will give you a 1/2 inch of coverage on each side. And you do the same thing from opening to opening, you add 1 inch, right? So our actual openings, when you measure, like I just showed you, are 18 1/8 by 5. So what we did was we go 1 inch bigger on each, and all our top 4 drawers are the same. So Hornet's messing with me, guys. So what we do is that our top 4 are the same. We label them 1 through 4 at the top, our medium-sized ones, and then our big ones. So what we're gonna do is, since we have all these measurements the same, we're just gonna set the table saw at 19 1/8. Make probably 2 or 3 rips with that, and then we'll just cut 4 6s, 4 8s, 4 14 1/4. That way we save and we're not wasting a bunch of material. Because we could make some 6-inch rips, some 8-inch rips, some 14 1/4 inch rips, but then you wasting because you don't need a bunch, and you might not get it all out of one sheet. So we're gonna rip this, cut all these lengths, and then after we get those, we'll cut our ups and sides for our maple glass doors, and then we're gonna go grab our router. So I just want to give y'all a little tip real quick on how to measure for the drawer fronts, and we'll show y'all how we go ahead and cut them. Now, some people would actually leave the table saw on between rips. It's just safer. It's safe. I mean, it might take you a few extra seconds to turn it on, but it's definitely a lot safer to turn it off between. That way you don't slip and trip on it or something, cut your arm off. That wouldn't be fun. All right, so we got our 2 19 1/8 ripped. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a bunch of 6s It might even rip on the table, so I'm not sure exactly how I want to do them yet. But once I figure it out, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know. All right, so change of plans. We're gonna do it a little different. It's gonna be a little difficult to cut it this wide on the miter saw, and I really don't want to cut it with a skill saw because I want it perfect. Now I'm good, so don't forget I'm good with a skill saw, but I'm not that good. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and take these sheets. Still not gonna waste any because we got big enough rips. So we need some 6s, some 8s, and some 14 1/4s. Our drop off from our 2 rips is 10 1/2. So I'm gonna take the 8s out of that. We're gonna take the 14 1/4s out of one, and then the 6s out of one. So we'll still have some drop off, but we still only gonna need 1 sheet for all 12 drawer fronts. So that's pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and re-rip these real quick to a little bit smaller, and then we're gonna cut them up. Okay, so now we have our 6s, our 8s, and our 14 1/4s. So top drawers, middle drawers, bottom drawers. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is cut our 19 1/8 lengths. You know, we should be able to get it 4 per piece because the sheet is 96, and with all 4 of these we should be under 80. So Coco's gonna go ahead and straighten up the end edge. So hold on, before you cut it, Coco, I want to show them. So if you see right here, your edge will kind of always be a little rough on your pieces. It's always a good idea to go ahead and cut you a fresh edge on every piece of everything you're using. From the factory, they cut lengths, but everything's rough. You're gonna have a crooked edge or something that's not gonna be pretty. You always want to put a straight edge on hardwood, maple, 2x4s, anything, because it's just a rough, crooked cut from the factory, warehouse, whatever you want to call it. So if you want it straight and accurate, always put you a fresh edge on everything you cut. That way you know, you don't never assume that it's straight, because 9 out of 10 times it's not going to be. Put you a fresh edge on everything. That way you can pull you a good, accurate square measurement. Coco's cutting the last one. We were actually able to get 5 out of each rip, which is awesome. That'll give us an extra one on each router, because 9 out of 10 times the router will chip one of these or mess something up, because that's just what routers do. Routers, I mean, most of them are picky on the blades. They'll get dull quick because we're always running like hard material. You can cut. We're always running like hard material through it, like maple, poplar, and all that stuff like that. It really dulls the blades out, and the blades are expensive, so we don't change them too often. But a lot of the times, like with the MDF stuff right here, so the blade that we're taking it out of is like a 3-inch router bit. It's a raised panel bit, and we got to take these sides down to about a 1/4 of an inch, almost 5/16. So we have to take all that material out, and no matter how strong your router table is, you can't do it all in one pass, because it's just taking out so much. It'll actually flip the breaker on the outlet that you're using. So what we do is we take them down, like, I want to say 3 or 4 steps. It all depends on how the router table's cutting that day and how sharp our blade is. But most of the time, and I don't know if this is just a luck thing or what, but we'll be like on the fourth pass, last piece, and what do you know, boom, it chips one of them. You gotta start recutting pieces and resetting the table, and it's just a heap of shit. So always cut you extra. I mean, if you can plan your sheets out to where you have extra, it's so much less of a headache. Like, literally, if you buy one more board just to be extra, it'll still be cheaper than your labor to go back and reset everything and recut and resand. So always cut extra. Stuff happens, y'all know that. So we have 5 of each set when we only needed 4. So right now we'll probably pick up this stuff and move it to the side. We're gonna go run and grab our router table, set those up, give y'all a walkthrough of those, and show y'all how we're gonna do it. And yeah, we'll go get that real quick, and we'll show y'all how we're gonna do it. Our tables, we're actually gonna cut our uprights on our glass doors. So when you're measuring for frames like this, like, or any pretty much cabinet door, you want to cut all your uprights first, just because it's kind of hard to get the measurement on your like your cross pieces on your doors, your top and your bottoms, because they go inside the 3-inch, and it's kind of hard for me to explain it without showing y'all. So I'm actually gonna show y'all, but you want to cut your uprights first. So Coco is gonna go ahead and cut 4 at 28 1/4, because we need 2 for each door. Once we cut those, we're gonna router the sides of them, and that'll give us how deep our groove is, and then we'll be able to get these measurements and then router all that together. So Coco's gonna cut us 4 of those, 28 1/4, and then we're gonna go ahead and set up our tables. It'll be a little process setting up our tables. Most of the time, the longest part about routering is setting up everything, because our tables kind of not sit out, but they sit in the shed, and they kind of rust over just because we have such crappy humidity out here. So we're gonna go ahead and sand the tables down real quick, throw a coat of wax on them, because it actually makes them slide really good. Because most of the time when you router, and your piece will like to get caught on the table, like it doesn't really slide very good because of the friction. So what we do is we wax the table and wax the backslide and let it slide really easy, because you don't really want to be straining, because you got a 3-inch piece, your hands on it, your fingers are really close to the blade. Everybody likes their fingers. Fingers are cool. You don't want to lose those. Very useful. So you really want it to be as easy as possible and as safe as possible. So Coco's gonna cut these real quick. We're gonna go run and get our router tables, and we're gonna show y'all how we prep up. We got our big router table for our raised panels here. We got the 2 router tables for the stiles and rails of the maple. This one's gonna be just for MDF. As you can tell, she is pretty rough, but that's okay. We're gonna take all this off and sand it. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. It's just surface rust from the humidity brush. Stuff's so smooth. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take this off real quick, and let me sand the whole table down. We're gonna go ahead and put a good coat of wax on it. We do this every time we take them out. We go ahead and sand them down, and or sand this one down. We don't sand those because those are made out of MDF as well. But we sand this one down. We put a good wax coat on it as we're using it, and before we save them up, because it's usually like a few months before we use the tables again. So I go ahead and put a coat of wax on it and leave it on there, and it actually makes it a little easier for us to sand the surface rust off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, put that down. We're gonna put it back on. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up, make that pretty again like a brand new table. And we're gonna go ahead and throw a bit on it. Throw our raised panel bit. Coco, go ahead and look for our raised panel bit. And we're gonna go ahead and put that on, and we'll get back in with y'all. In the time lapse, this is way easier to sand than this, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I waxed the shit out of this before I put it up, and I never waxed this. My fault, that's on me. But you can see how much harder and how much longer it's taking me to actually get this down. I might actually have to get my non-orbital sander and kind of clean this up. Grab the DeWalt for me. This right here is super smooth. I mean, I don't know if y'all really can't tell, but in video, but like super smooth. And this right here is smooth, but it's taking me forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my non-orbital, buff that out real quick, and go ahead and throw a good coat of wax on it, clean up our slides, and we're gonna set this baby up and start routering some drawer fronts. We're gonna hook up a vacuum to it, that way we don't make a bunch of mess, because MDF does throw a crap load of dust. So, and it's not really good to breathe it in because it's such a small particle. Like I said before in a couple past videos, you always want to wear a mask if you can. If not, use a vacuum or some type of dust extraction or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish sanding this up real quick. On orbital, if y'all remember from our tile videos, this is what we use to clean up our bull nose on our tile. So it's a sander, it's just non-orbital, so it just spins really fast. It's kind of hard. You got to watch not to use it on wood a lot, because it does scratch wood, because it doesn't orbit. It just spins, so it'll make some scratchy swirl marks. But on this, it's a little different, so I'll show you how much easier. See that? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to the whole table, and then we'll pass it with the orbital, and then we'll throw a good piece of sandpaper on it. We got it all cleaned up. Might not look clean, but it's definitely, you can see the reflection on it versus the rust. So just have some 120 grit on there. Another good reason that we go ahead and wax it too, the wax puts a protective coating not only on the metal, but from the metal to the wood. Because if you just slide your hand on it, well, your hand, of course I'm showing you my hand, but if you slide your piece on it, look at that. You think you want that on your cabinets? No, bro, you do not. So we're gonna clean this off like this with my hand or a rag. I'm gonna go ahead and wax it. That way the metal doesn't stain the wood, and then we have to sand all that and all kind of crazy stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and wax this up real quick. That way we can protect our wood. It's easier to slide. I mean, look how easy. Y'all can't tell this, but let me tell y'all, bro, it's easy. Wow, like that. The wood's probably just gonna run off and maybe hit one of my dogs or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and wax this up real quick. Now, it's not the exact bit I wanted to use. Just because this bit has a little indentation in the corner, I kind of didn't want that. But this kind of does match the OG that we're going to put on the door. So we're going to go ahead, throw a little wax on this baby. And guys, I don't detail cars. Don't judge me on my waxing. This is just how we're going to do our table. Right, Coco?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Don't judge, bro. Jesus don't judge. Y'all don't have to either, bro. That's all right.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. That's it. Go ahead and wax this baby up. Like that. Oh, look at that. She's dirty. Go ahead and wax her up. Need a little more wax for this side. Oh my goodness. Give us a little dab of this, a little dab of do, as Carrie would say. This is some Citrus Shield Premium Paste Wax. Some pretty good stuff. I actually think you're supposed to wax wood with that. Kind of puts like a protective coating on it. But if it can protect wood, it can protect our saw, bro. Strap this on there. I'm sure my dad's gonna see this video and he'll be like, "Boy, that's not how I taught you to wax, boy." But that's all right. He'll get over it. He's gonna laugh at that too. Maybe not. He should. He probably will fire me. That's all right. Somebody let me wax their router table. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let that sit for a few minutes, and then we're gonna wipe it off. Look how dirty that is, bro. Cool. Dirty, huh?
Dirty.
Dirty. Okay, so while our router tables are drying the wax on it, I want to go ahead and show y'all for all my limestone driveway parking pad customers. So I have 3 different types of rock in my driveway where I park my truck. I like to experiment with stuff before I put it in my customers' driveways and, you know, their houses or whatever. So I have a little bit of almost everything in my house because I like to test it. I like to abuse it. Y'all not gonna beat y'all stuff up like I beat my stuff up, I promise you. I really tear my shit up. So I passed my my carpenter trailer, which is no doubt at least 6,000 pounds. I mean, it's packed tight and it's overbuilt. My 9,000 pound truck, at least I think, is that heavy, probably with me in it. So I pass this every day. I come through my yard, around, turn my wheels at full lock, probably 30 miles an hour, and I bust it up right here. So everything's real tore up. So I abuse it. And I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all the different kind of rocks I got here, and the different ways they take the weight and the abuse. So this right here is what y'all gonna hear me call number 57. I'm sure there's other words for it. That's what I call it. So this right here is rock with no powder. It varies from about 1.5 inches to 1/2 inch. It's just all mixed up, as y'all can see. It's all different sizes. Now, this has no powder in it. See how easy it moves around? Your tires are going to move this. It's gonna pack to an extent, but not really. So as you can see, I have dips and I have little things. I mean, you gotta rake it. You gotta maintain it. It looks prettier than 610 and crushed asphalt and crushed concrete because it's just a pretty rock. There's no powder, so it's gonna look pretty if you maintain it, if you keep it up. It's not concrete, guys. It's cheaper than concrete. It's gonna act like it. So keep that in mind. Okay. Next step, 610 limestone. This is 610. Pretty much what 610 is 57 with powder in it. Look at this. It's hard. I mean, you can still move it, but look how hard that's packed in there. You see how, look at this face. See how this little rock in here? It's packed in with the powder. Now I can take it out. But y'all see, it's just a loose top layer. And look, that's a base. Some people call it 610, some people call it road base. All depends on what the plant calls it. But from here to there, this is 610. As y'all can see, it's not pretty. Some people might think this is mud. It's not mud, it's the powder. You see the powder. So some people, you go put 610 and they might say, oh, well, I'm seeing mud through it. Keep in mind, it's powder. This right here is like 6 inches thick. So I mean, it's solid. It's solid like concrete, but remember, it's not concrete. So keep that in mind also. This is what 610 looks like after about 2 years of abuse. It's solid as shit. It's not gonna be the prettiest, but you got a good base. I could come run anything over this, any type of rock. I could throw some 57 over this, some little 1/2 inch rocks. I have a base. I don't have to worry about driving through mud. My rocks are gonna have something on it. Whereas my 57, this is like 6 inches on just dirt. Like I literally just threw this on dirt. So you see, you got your little dips and everything. It's pretty. If I would rake it, it would look awesome, but it doesn't pack. 610's not pretty from the get-go, but it packs like, you know, it packs like hell. It's awesome. This is asphalt. This is crushed asphalt. Now, as you can see, you should be able to see the different level of how high this is. It's actually like 12 inches of rock. It's just the grass grew over it, so it's kind of hard for y'all to tell, but this is asphalt. So asphalt, it kind of packs like 610. It does have a good base. I noticed it took about 4 times longer to pack than 610. So it's still good. It packs really, really hard. Just from my experiences, I noticed it took a lot longer to pack. So this is asphalt, crushed asphalt. This is 610 from here to here. Just show y'all what it looks like. And this is 57. So I'm gonna go also show y'all what I did with some 57 around my house to show y'all that it can be pretty too around different stuff. Just doesn't have to be in your driveway. It could be in your flower garden or whatever. So I had a big lip right here, like a 4-inch lip. It was hard for the vehicles and I didn't want my kids to trip. So I went ahead and put some 57 all right here. You can see that looks good. And then I put 57 right here. Now don't judge me because I do need to weed this right here, but you know, it's pretty, it's nice. You can put it wherever you want, it's pretty. But that's my little explanation. I want to kind of show y'all, you know, what if y'all want to call for some limestone, or you want me to do a parking pad or a driveway or something. Y'all kind of know what materials that we use and we're used to using, and how y'all know what to expect from them. So that'll kind of give y'all a little tip and everything. We're gonna go ahead and wipe down these router tables and get back with y'all. All right, guys, you see Coco's hand? It's a little dirty, but it's not bad. That's a working man's hand. Go ahead and pass that, bro. Show me your hand. The same, bro. That's what the wax does, bro. I told y'all. No matter how bad you wax it, bro, as long as you wax it, it's all right. Okay, guys, this right here is gonna act as a piece of our MDF. So I'm using this. Y'all remember I took this off. So we want our piece of wood to ride on that little ball bearing right there. So we actually have to, this right here is adjustable. It slides and does all kind of cool stuff. So what we want to do is have this framing square sit flush against this, but also be able to roll on that wheel. So as you can see, Coco, hold your side against like that. Coco's side is against, my side's off. But we still want it to sit on that ball bearing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna loosen up my side. Gonna adjust it like that. Go ahead and hold it against. Is it letting you? Might be a little crooked, T. Yep. See, guys, it might take a little extra, but sometimes you just gotta adjust your stuff. Want it perfect. Tighten that baby up like that. Let's see. I'll be damned. She might be, bro. Shit. Alright, guys. Demonstration videos don't always go well, but that's alright because y'all need to see the ups and downs because there are some every time. So right now it's looking like this might be a little bent on me. Let's see. Oh my lord, yes, yeah. Okay, that's alright. This table's really old. I plan on buying a new one, but y'all gotta give me time. I gotta play Santa Claus first. So let's see. Touch your in your groove, T. Come up a little bit. Alright, guys. Turns out it's Coco's fault the whole time.
It's not my fault.
Hang on, let's see. Let's adjust this. Trying to get it to hold right while I'm tightening it, but it likes to move. Let's see. Right there looks pretty decent. It's not horrible.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad? Yeah. That's alright. Hold it against. Keep it against the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. And guys, I'm trying to straighten it while I teach Coco, bro. He's gonna laugh. He can say he knows how to do it all. He taught me and my dad and everybody, bro. It's not the truth. He's lying.
True, bro.
Look, bro, he's full of shit.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we like to cut up, bro. Make the day go by.
You're not against the wheel. There you go, right there.
That's right. All right, just you teach me the way, bro. You gonna teach me? Can you teach me all your tricks, bro?
I tried. You unteachable.
Y'all know that's how I lie. All right, bro, we're just gonna call that good. I'm gonna adjust this real quick. I need both my hands. We're gonna go ahead and show y'all after this. Fix it. What no, I was not gonna fix it with that door shim. Don't even assume it. So Coco actually took these off. It turns out there was a bunch of dust behind there, kind of kicking it out. So we went ahead and took these off and cleaned them. And now we got us a straight line. It's on our wheel bearing. So now we're gonna go ahead and set the depth and give y'all a video of us routing. MDF throws a crap ton of dust, guys. So it's gonna not let it clog up, kind of keeps the dust off the table as I'm cutting. And as y'all can see, the full profile of the bit, check it out. They're only cutting about, maybe if it would focus, maybe a quarter to half of the bit. That way it doesn't bog down. So as you can see, I'll only be taking that much out of the piece at one time. Focus, focus. There you go. I'll be taking that much at a time, that way it doesn't bog down. That might even still be too much, but we're gonna go ahead and test it out real quick. Coco, come hold the camera for him, bro.
I got you some test pieces.
Give me some test pieces. A good man. Okay. You see how it gives me the small pieces? You don't want my fingers to stay on, bro.
I'm trying to teach you.
I'm trying to teach you.
You're unteachable. You can't teach this dude.
If y'all know any good help, let me know, because this one's hard to find. That's somewhat of the profile we're going for. We're gonna go ahead and run this one down all the way. That way I can show y'all what the profile is gonna be, because I want to see how it's gonna turn out too. But what we're gonna do on the other pieces is we're gonna run this depth on all four sides of every piece, and then we adjust. That way all the first cuts are the same, all the second cuts are the same. You don't have to guess through each piece. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust this up a little bit right now. Loosen up our adjustment, turn our router up like that. It'll probably take a total of 3 cuts. It depends on if it struggles or not. Probably go a little bit thicker, or a little bit more. So we'll plug your vacuum in. That'll actually give y'all a good example of what it looks like with the vacuum on and off. Okay, so this will probably be our final time going up. I like that. All right, guys. So that's gonna be our goal. We're gonna use this as our fat. That's our pattern. So we're gonna go ahead and readjust this down. That way we can take a little bit out like we were doing at first. We're gonna run all of those, change the depth a few times to get down to this acquired thickness, and then yeah, we'll give y'all a little time after that. Got all 12 drawer front with the first depth on it. And now I just went ahead and adjusted that up a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and run it. We're gonna probably run them all this next depth, and then we'll set it one more time. That'll be the depth that we're going for. Don't forget, safety first, bro. About 15 days worth of routering. We're gonna go ahead and set our last depth. Coco, grab Pat. Pat's right here, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust my screw right here, loosen that up, and I adjust my depth by turning this right here. It's on like a thread, I guess you could call it. So we're gonna go ahead and Coco, unplug the router. Always be safe about it, y'all. Remember I told y'all we like our fingers. Coco's gonna unplug the router.
Hope that's the right one.
Yep. Coco got jokes. Okay, so now we're gonna set our depth. See, we actually still gotta take out about another 1/4 inch, so I'll go ahead and turn that to where it adjusts itself higher. Let's see. Turn this like that. Let's see, get y'all a good shot of it. They're very close. I still gotta go a little more. Go ahead and turn it. Yeah. Let's see. A touch more, bub. Okay, hang on. Hold it right there. Oh yeah, y'all. Look at that. Pow. Perfect. Okay. Go ahead. We're gonna hold it right there. Tighten the set screw. Like that. Lock that down. All right, guys. So now we're gonna run all our pieces at depth, and then that'll be it, bro. We gotta do is sand them after that. Put a little pat down. Guys, look at the dust. This is with a vacuum. Could y'all imagine without? Look at this, bro. You can make MDF mountains. So, always have a good vacuum hooked up. Y'all don't want to be breathing all this stuff in. It's not fun. So we're gonna run all 12 of our drawer fronts at this last final depth, and then we're gonna show y'all the sanding process. All the different grits that we use to sand it. How we sand some by hand, some with the sander. So, I'll show y'all that in a few seconds. Alright guys, so we finally got it down to the size we wanted. That's all our profiles. So I kind of want to talk to y'all about pressure as well when routering. Now it kind of looks like I'm just holding my hand on it and just kind of, you know, throwing it across the blade, but it actually matters a lot how much pressure you put with your fingers and where you put the pressure. So as I'm routering, so what'll happen is if you don't have equal pressure, as in pushing down while you're routering against the back, what'll happen is you actually see they'll have like a little line across, and this side will be higher than this side, and that's because I would not be putting enough pressure when I'm running this one. So as I'm pushing, I want to keep equal pressure down as I transfer across, and then also keeping my hand, you know, at a safe distance from the blade, push down as I run it out. And when I turn, keep my pressure here where my middle finger's at, and then I'll transfer pressure either to my thumb or my first finger as I come out. So that'll keep it, you know, as you can see, our edges, our corners are pretty good. And it took me a long time, took me quite a few years to actually understand the pressure and keep them good and learn what I keep my hands. So it took me a long time to actually learn how to get pretty good at router, and I'm still obviously not the best. I mean, there's always room for improvement for everybody. Still learning every day. So that's a little tip on pressure. It is a lot easier to keep pressure on MDF stuff like this because the wood's a lot softer. As far as maple's a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. As you're cutting, sometimes the blade will catch a chip of the wood and throw the wood back and make you go change your caissons and all kind of stuff. So we're about to get ready to router our maple, so y'all see that maple's a whole different ball game. So stay tuned for that. Guys, so what I'm doing right now is adjusting the tables, adjusting the depth of our bits, and I guess you could say the depth of the wall on how deep it's gonna cut. So you need 2 router tables set up for this. These are both OG bits, and it's spelled OGEE, and that is the design right there on that bottom bit, which is basically a much smaller version of what we did on the drawer fronts, as you can see right here. So I was trying to get our OG bit without the two little grooves right here, but I couldn't find it, so I just went ahead and ran with the OG bit with this little fancy right here, because it's not going to show that much. So what this one right here, let me zoom this out. This one right here is for my long cuts, which would be this one, and or this right here, and this router table almost has the same bit, just kind of inverted in a way, like that. And these are for our cross cuts. So as you can see, this right here will be what you see on the top and the bottom of the door. Coco, go ahead and show them how they're supposed to match up. Hang on, let me get where your hands at, B. So you got our long cut, go ahead. See, it locks in like that. And we're gonna go ahead and clean up all this. These are just test pieces, guys, so they're rough. So the reason we adjust them into the edge is you can see this little lip right here. So if we leave that like that, and we have to sand the crap out of it, and if y'all know maple is very hard wood. Maple, it takes forever to sand this down, and then you can never really get it perfect. I mean, you can, but you're gonna tear the wood up. So all I have to do is probably adjust this blade either up or down. I'm gonna go see on the table, and that'll leave me a little more on this lip, on this piece, and it'll get it higher for us to almost, you don't really want to fill this. You want to just be like filling this. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust this one, our cross cut. Keep testing it. Once we get it perfect, then we can just run a bunch of them. Go ahead and take that one off, Coco. So another thing on pressure, like I just told y'all on the drawer fronts, this little lip right here, if it gets any thinner, then that means I'm not pushing hard enough, because I cut this one upside down like this. So when I come here, put my board like this, I put pressure. When I cut my fingers off, you gotta be careful. And I just run it through like this, you know, with two hands. And I make sure when I come out, I'm keeping equal pressure the whole time, and that runs that out. Coco, come hold the camera, bro. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna run one for him. I'm gonna show y'all, and y'all watch my hands. I'm keeping equal pressure as I go through. So as you can see, that lip stays pretty consistent. Mine went a little shy right here. It just means I need more pressure. So, you know, practice makes perfect, and it's okay to run it a few times. Just be careful so it don't splinter your piece. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the adjustments, and then we'll probably do a time lapse of us running a bunch of them. So stay tuned for that. Our table's adjusted. Everything's pretty darn good. Got our joints pretty nice and flush. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little time lapse of us routering our styles on our rails. Hey guys, so we got all of our uprights cut right here. If I can quit making a mess. So see, I got a pretty good consistent line in my profile. Now I'm not perfect, so I had to run these. You'll see me in the time lapse. I ran them about 3 or 4, even 5 times, because I'll run it and I'll check, and I noticed that I was pretty thin right here versus the ends, and that means that I lost pressure right here. So I'll run them back, put a little more pressure, and adjust them and get them right. Don't be scared to pass it a few times, guys. And also, if you mess one up and there's, you know, no point in fixing it, don't be scared to cut another piece, bro. That's what happened right here. This board was bold and I didn't realize. So you don't just give the customer that, because that's not fair. It's not their fault you picked the wrong wood. Cut another piece, bro. You know, you want it perfect, you want it right. That's why your customer hires you, because they trust you, and you want to give them a reason to trust you. So now we're gonna show y'all how to get the measurements for our middle pieces. I'm gonna take 2 of these bad boys. I'm gonna bring them over here. Okay,
Let's see. I need my tape measure. Grab that baby right here. Okay. So our doors need to be 20 and an eighth wide. Coco, can you go ahead and pull us 20 and an eighth mark, please, from the end? I'll show y'all how we do this. And there's a bunch of different ways. This is just the way that we do it. Coco's gonna mark 20 and an eighth right there. And he's also gonna mark it like right here. And what this is doing is gonna let us mimic how our door's gonna sit. Okay, put one on the edge flush for us. So he's gonna use the outside edge of the plywood to keep us square. I'm gonna take this one right here. I'm gonna put it on our marks, our 20 and an eighth marks. Come soft. Okay. Now I'm gonna hold this down, and we're gonna measure from this little lip, because this lip also is the same as this, and that'll give us our middle piece. You would think that you have to measure to here. Focus camera. You would think that you have to measure to here, but you don't, because we're gonna show y'all how the little cuts are. You're actually gonna measure to this lip. So let's see, let's check my mark, guys. Right there on my arrow. I'm gonna hold this down. Coco's good on his edge. So we're gonna hold him here, right there. And that is going to be 14, and we're gonna call that 7/8. So now Coco is gonna cut us 4 pieces at 14 and 7/8. And then we're gonna show y'all, we actually get to router those on both tables. So we're gonna do our little cross cuts like this, and then we're gonna go on the other side and cut them across, because on these cuts they gotta have the grooves to fit in here and the groove to carry this one right here and right here. So Coco's gonna cut those for us real quick. We're gonna go ahead and show you how to router those, and then we'll temporarily put the door together to show y'all what it's gonna look like. These doors, usually we would cut a raised panel that somewhat looks exactly like the drawer fronts wherever they at. And it would lock in here, and we flip it, glue it, nail it, and clamp it, and all that cool stuff, which I'm sure we'll have a video to show y'all on the next job when we have those to do. But this one's gonna have glass. So we're only gonna temporarily cut all these pieces. We're not gonna put them together. We're just gonna test them, get some glass cut, install that, and then we'll show y'all how we dado our little grooves for our hinges and everything. So y'all stay tuned for that. Pretty our test pieces cut. As y'all see, I got them sitting in their little grooves right there where we measured to. This one's actually out. Let me fix that. Okay, that one in the groove. That one's in the groove. We were shooting for 20 and an eighth. What do you know? It's actually a little bigger, but that's okay. We are almost 3/16, but that's not gonna matter. So we're gonna go ahead and roll with that. Coco's cutting the other 2, and then we're gonna show you how to router these. Go ahead and show y'all the 2 different cuts on these. So I'm gonna let y'all watch me run those real quick. What I'm cutting right now is to be our cross cuts that are gonna interlock in the other pieces. We got these. I'm gonna actually show y'all how to prevent what just happened, but we'll use this one as an example. So we wanna watch our reveal right here, because that's what's gonna interlock right here. That's gonna lock in like this. And see, this is, ooh, boy, we're getting good, aren't we? Yeah. That's pretty damn good. About as close as you're gonna get it without sanding. So now we have to go and cut this cut to match with these. So let's go do that. that is pretty much end result. Kill the vacuum. That's pretty much end result. Let's go see how it looks. Now keep in mind, guys, this is before we sand it. So this is just kind of rough. And this one's just our test piece. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. Everything looks pretty good. Our depth right here is pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and cut another one of these, and then we'll show y'all how to prevent this. Because when we come see over here. When we come out of this table like this, it's always gonna wanna peel that piece off because it's such a hard wood, it doesn't really cut it. So what I'm gonna do is actually I can use this one as my test piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, you have to grab me another one? One that's not cut. So see, I'll be cutting this one. I'm actually just cut it right now to show y'all. I'm gonna put this one against. That way, when this piece wants to peel, it can't because this board's behind it. So watch, I'm gonna show y'all the difference. Look at that. It might peel just a touch, but look, no more little big old frays or anything like that. So put a little piece behind it. That's another little tip for y'all to kind of keep y'all pieces clean. Alright, guys and gals, that is pretty much gonna sum up today's video. This is our cabinet door. Hey, we got our good notch for our glass now. So we're gonna wait to put this together until we have the glass, but now we can get our measurement for our glass to fit inside. So what we're gonna actually do, probably in the next video, we'll show you how we actually prep the door. We'll show you how to prep the tables. Now we're gonna show you how to prep the doors. So we're gonna go ahead and sand this down with some 120 sandpaper to clean up all these marks and everything. And then we'll go ahead and take some 120 by hand and kind of get in here and get all these little, whatever, your little fuzzies out. That way once you paint them, it's like super smooth and you don't have to worry about feeling it in the paint. So once we have the glass in there and this is all together and glued, we're gonna take a smaller hand router and router another little edge, that kind of like a little groove. It'll kind of be like this, but more like a round over. So everything will be nice and smooth. And then you come over to the drawer fronts. And so the drawer fronts, we're gonna sand the top with the sander just to kind of clean it up with some 120. And what we'll do is we actually get in here. Y'all can see the texture. I mean, it's kind of fuzzy. And all of that just kind of shows up in the paint. Real fuzzy. So what we do is we take some sheets. We cut up our sheets of this is 400 grit, like super fine grit. And what we do is we take it by hand and we sand this, and it comes out slick like the top. It takes a lot of you know, it's a lot of labor, but I mean, once you paint it and feel it, it's super smooth, and it makes it all worth it. So that's today's video of how we build cabinet doors and drawer fronts to an extent. Obviously every job's different, but that's y'all video for today with Brian and Coco in the cabinet shop. And see y'all later. Thank y'all for tuning in.